because to expect that you can do it on your own only sets you up for disappointment, failed expectations, being hard on yourself, and a lack of growth.
What is going on, L&M family? Back again with another awesome interview, or guest rather. And this one's interesting. Like we met, I'm going to maybe date myself. We connected on Clubhouse back when that was the thing, which was, I don't know, 5-6 years now, somewhere in that range. If you don't know what Clubhouse is, and you remember back in your teenage days when you had like three-way calling and you could call more than one person and everybody, like it was like that with adults, which was super awesome. She is a super accomplished construction influencer. And I know when I say that, a lot of people are like, I don't like that. It's like, too bad. You've influenced me. You're influencing the industry. You're a damn influencer. She builds, or she helps companies and leaders build accountable teams and strong leaders. She also helps leaders to lead with clarity and build trust, which, if y'all know, that's kind of a big thing. And then here's the other one which is pretty damn impressive, is you help improve culture and retention without adding complexity, which I think is massive. We're definitely going to get into that. Miss Coralee Beatty is the founder, supporter, operator, executor, all of the things of Thrive HQ. And you're going to get to know a little bit more about here in a bit. Now, if this is your first time here, you're listening to the Learnings and Missteps podcast, where you get a front row seat to see how amazing human beings just like you are sharing their gifts and talents to leave this world better than they found it. I am Jesse, your selfish servant, and we are about to get to know Miss Coralee. Miss Coralee, how are you?
I am so good, Jesse. Thank you so much for having me. And yes, the Clubhouse days, which I can't believe it's been probably close to 6 years. I know I started right at the beginning, like in 2020, and wow, what a crazy time that was. And it seems like another lifetime ago.
Oh, seriously. I remember when I got into, I think Felipe Enriquez was the one who said, dude, you got to get on this thing. And I did. I was like, what is this? Yeah. It's like three-way. I'm like, okay. And I was like, oh, and it was like peak. Like, it's awesome. There's all these clubs and rooms. And then it got flooded with salesmen, salespeople. And then it disappeared. Then it just kind of evaporated.
It was great through COVID, though, where everybody was sort of stuck at home. It was kind of perfect timing because everybody was at home and what else could you do? And so everybody was getting on this audio platform where you could just connect with people that you would just, I met so many incredible people in that time, including yourself, that just, have influenced my excitement, my enthusiasm, and, keep you going, because especially during that time, it was so easy to feel alone,
yes.
Building these businesses. And it was great.
Yeah. And there were so many people that were open to share and like impart knowledge and wisdom and ask questions. For me, I agree 100%, right? Like at that time, we were all so isolated, the connection. And that was kind of my big takeaway from it was, man, I'm not the only one that needs community. We can digitally create community. And so that's kind of informed a lot of the things that I do now. So it was, and obviously you and I got to meet you and hear your wisdom. So like, oh man, she's a player, like for real OG. So I'm glad that happened. Now, I like to start off with simple questions, easy softball questions. Is that okay or is that too boring?
No, let's do it. I'm good.
Okay. Question number 1. How do you think about accountability?
It's so interesting because, this is really, it's like the crux of our industry in growth of business and growth of personal development and everything, because to expect that you can do it on your own only sets you up for disappointment, failed expectations, being hard on yourself, and a lack of growth. And when you can acknowledge the fact that nobody has done anything just on their own, or very little on their own. We need people. We need people to support us. So accountability is really somebody there for you to say, hey, I see you. I hear you. I'm here to support you because I want for you what you want for you. Let me hold you accountable. And I love that because it's just like you can get to a point like through practice, you can get to a point where it's like now I can hold myself accountable, or at least I know what that looks like. Because in the beginning, when you're trying to build something, whatever that is, a career in the industry, or you're trying to build a business, whatever it is, you don't know. And so it's easy to get down on yourself. Having somebody there to support you, hold you accountable, and all of those things just helps you to grow. And when you can kind of turn around, it's like it helps you to build the confidence that you don't have in the beginning. And it's that confidence that gives you the ability to have the discipline to be accountable to yourself at some point. Like accountability thing.
Maybe you can help me get clearer about how I think about accountability. I do not believe that you can hold me accountable. I do not believe anybody can hold me accountable. And I also don't believe it is my job, role, or responsibility to hold anybody else accountable. What do you think about that?
Yes and no. I think that is ideal, yes. And I do believe there is a point that I can get to where I hold myself accountable because I have the discipline. And I think, and it's always on me. Like my actions I take, I can say, you know, I'm accountable to my coach, or I'm accountable to my partner, or I'm accountable to this person. And ultimately, that's just a key that I use to myself to say, I need to do this because I don't want to look bad to them. So yes, I'm still responsible for the actions. 100%, I'm still responsible for the discipline that it takes to do it. And when I have someone there seeing me, hearing me, holding me accountable, it's just like, okay, they're going to know if I don't do this thing. So absolutely, I agree what you're saying, where, you know, it's not their job to hold me accountable. Well, it's not, well, that is another thing, because in our industry, yes, there's going to be a project manager that needs to hold people accountable on site and all of that stuff because they're ultimately responsible or accountable for it. But when it comes to just like the performance of ourselves on a daily basis, like what it is we do, how we interact, and all of those things, we're ultimately always 100% responsible. That's what leadership is. It's like you take 100% responsibility for everything that happens in, around, and for you around in your life. That's leadership. That's leadership. And, so yes, I agree. And accountability is a tool that helps us all.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. And my thing is, if you want accountability, all you need is two things. Number one is be accountable. Number two is surround yourself with accountable people. Right? And so, like the dynamic of, if you were coaching me, I would have a sense of accountability to the commitments that I made to you. And I am going to report on the progress or lack thereof because I am accountable to my commitment. Now, if you dictate something that I should do that I don't commit to, guess what's not going to happen? I am not going to be accountable. I don't care about it. A, and B, any consequence that I earn from that from you is irrelevant because I don't care. There was no commitment on my end from the beginning. And talking about PMs or whatever, anybody that like manages or is responsible for people, me as a manager, I'm accountable to my responsibilities as a manager. And in that means I have to say, Coralie, did you get the thing done? What's in your way? What do I need to do? What resources do you need? Or are you the wrong person for the task? Because I'm being responsible to my commitment as a manager. And so anyway, is that just me splitting hairs, or how does that land with you?
It does get into the minutia of it. And at the same time, I think it's really important for people to understand they are ultimately responsible for themselves. Like that's what it comes down to. You can have somebody that holds you accountable. You can't point fingers and go, well, you didn't tell me I was supposed to. It's like, dude, that's on you.
Yeah. Oh, my favorite is, I forgot. Now, I say that because I used the hell out of it when I was coming up. Like, oh, I missed that part. No, I did. I just didn't want to do it.
And I think it does, come to your point about commitment. And it's the critical piece in any kind of anything. It's just that, when you make a decision with conviction that there's an outcome that you want, it doesn't matter. You don't need accountability like that person to be you're only accountable to yourself at that point. And like you say, if you don't have the commitment to that, then it doesn't matter. And what's the point? So absolutely, I agree that is a necessary ingredient for success.
We got to do the L&M family member shout out. And this one goes to Cindy Becerra, who is also a repeat offender. Cindy says, participated in the time management workshop, which really is a self-management workshop. Jesse taught me how to realistically assess my goals and break them down into steps, then gave me the how on scheduling them in my calendar. Cindy, sister, I appreciate you taking the time to leave the review and also for inviting me in to speak into your life. And folks, she is talking about the time management for construction workshop, which is a thing I do where I get to twist people's brains around. And also, like, if when you leave a comment, the review, the stars and shares and all the thing, that is the ultimate gift for me because it helps me feel like I've touched you in some way. And it gives me an excuse to celebrate you on a future episode. Yes. Okay, so you brought up an important point, and I know that you help teams build accountable teams and you help them build their leaders. What is it like? Why did you decide to go after that?
Yeah, the thing is, it's like everything comes down to what did I learn, and how can I share my mistakes, my missteps and learnings? Like how can I share that? Because I laugh at myself when I was a leader in my own company in the early 2000s, like when I was just starting out and I was having employees. I was really conscientious and I really cared about my people, and I had no idea what it looked like to actually be a leader. And so when I look at the industry around me and I see that, everybody's pointing fingers and blaming and, all of the things, it's just like, what if we just brought it back, took responsibility, and everybody became responsible, accountable for their own shit, to be like, I don't have to look after you. It's not my job to look after you because you know your job, you're bought into it, and you will do what you're supposed to do. That is building accountability. So when I'm building this accountability within these teams, it's like every person in the team is very clear on what their job is. Like, this is my job, this is my role, this is how I contribute, and this is how I make a difference. They're really clear on that. And when they have that level of clarity, that makes them accountable to what it is that they need to do. When they lack that clarity, and it's not necessarily not being accountable, it's the fact that they really don't know. And until they know, like, yes, I sign up for this, then you can't really hold them to anything because it's on you as the leader who were not clear to begin with. So that's where everything starts. Everything starts. So you need to clarity. If they don't know, they don't know.
Yes. And which again comes back to commitment, right? Like, the clearer I am about the expectation, the more like I know, yes, I can commit to that, or hell no, I can't commit to that. Right? Like let's just take it into like personal relationships or dating. If I know that I've got to call you 4 times a day and respond to every text within 2 minutes, I cannot make that commitment because I'm not going to do that. It's more than I'm prepared to do, so I could say, no, I'm out. Now, I know this is kind of silly, but I think to your point around clarity, if that's the expectation, but it's not communicated, and then I get in trouble for every, second that I lapse past the 2-minute text response or not calling multiple times a day, I'm experiencing negative consequence that, but the commitment was never secured because there was no clarity on what the expectation was. Which obviously I'm using a silly example, but in the workplace, it's exactly the same. Yeah.
Yeah. It's you're not agreeing to it. If you don't agree to it, then you can't be held to it. And that's when you can get that clarity for your team and they're like, yes, this is what I'm saying yes to. Then you can say, okay, you said yes to this, and these areas we're having some challenges with. That's when you can have a real conversation. Until that point, you can't. You can only point at yourself as the problem.
Right. And the great leaders. Have you seen this out there? There's a demographic of construction leaders out there. that they seem to be the only ones that to always get the lowest skilled trade workers, staff, people that just don't care, people that don't have common sense. And it just seems to happen to them their entire career. You know any of those people?
Oh yeah. Yes, nobody wants to work, nobody cares, nobody shows up on time, nobody really, really, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my question to them is like, okay, like, is that on this project? No, like every project I've ever been on. Like, are they all the same people? No. Like, so what's the common denominator?
Yes.
They don't like
And
that.
to
They
be
don't.
fair, because this is it's so rampant in our industry.
Yes.
Like people are very quick to judge the workers coming up and pointing the fingers outward. And to be very fair, I think people don't know what they don't know. They don't realize that if they changed how they approached a situation from the leadership perspective, their people will show up differently. They don't
Yes.
get that. All they see is what's out there, and they don't
Yes.
recognize that it's a result of what they are or are not doing. So, yes, we see it everywhere. And it's just like, it takes people like you and I to let people know, no. What you don't understand is that if we did things just a little bit differently, like it's not huge, like just do it a little bit different, your people will show up differently.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. Okay. So I got to know. I know you had a successful exit of selling a business. So you've run teams. You've done what you coach on.
Yes.
Like, what grade were you in? Like fifth or sixth grade when you said, okay, I have all the skills to run a successful construction business. I'm going to do that. I'm going to scale it. I'm going to sell it. And then I'm going to coach people. How early in your life did you see that clear path?
I'm going to say T plus 10 minutes. It's like I'm always running 10 minutes behind. It's like, what's the next thing? I don't know. I'll let you know when I get there. It's just like, it's like every time you do something, it's just like, oh, you have this idea. And then everything always changes. Everything always, there's all these iterations that you get clarity on, not now, but in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, it's always it's that next thing that you are figuring out. And then you're like, oh, okay, now I see how this works. Now I can do something with it. It's just, yeah, never anticipated this. And at the same time, it's just like, it gives me some excitement about what's coming next for me, like as far as, because we did start our next HVAC company, so we're full on.
Oh, nice.
We did do that just at the beginning of the year. We started in it full time. So I have so much excitement about what I can build based on all of the stuff I didn't know and came too late to, like just like, oh, okay. So yeah, and never ahead of time.
Yeah. Well, what I love about what your path indicates is you did the thing, you learned from that, and then you're sharing that knowledge. Like that's one of the services you provide, right? Is coaching people. And then it's different than academic approach, right? Academic is I study the concepts and then I regurgitate and tell people these are the best practices, but I've never done it. Whereas you did it and learned, I'm assuming, maybe one or two lessons in the doing.
One or two.
And then go and help people do that. And now you're going back and doing it again. So in that process, what have you learned about yourself?
God, I wish I could just give up sometimes. I just wish there was a part, like some days I just wish there was a piece of me that was willing to quit. Because like it is some days are just so hard. And it's I don't even know what it looks like to quit. And I've learned that about myself, because as much as I've cried and I've beaten myself over the head and I've just so many ways, I've tried so many different things in an effort to just take that next step. And there's times when I sit and it's like, okay, what if I just didn't do this anymore? And like that, and it's like, okay, well, that's just not going to happen. Like, it's just not an option. And so I definitely recognized it, learned about myself that there is no quit. There's only resilience and perseverance and determination and focus and just like discipline to do all the things I don't want to do when I don't want to do them. Like, it's taking my feelings out of the things that I do because it's part of the plan. Like all these things that I've learned to strengthen over time, and I know are really hard, and they were hard in the beginning. And it's just like, I can do anything. Like I can do
Mm.
anything. And I know that because for all the things that I've survived,
Yeah.
right, let's do this again.
So where do you think that came from? I mean, I understand once you start doing it, you realize it. And it's like, okay, yeah, I know how to overcome challenges and
Yeah.
deal with the losses and shift and adjust. But the perseverance, where do you think that came from? Like did it start in your first company or when you ran your first team, or did it start before that?
Truthfully, for all of the things that I've learned about myself over the years, I think my ability to not give up, to keep going and not quit is rooted in the fear of judgment from others.
Ooh.
And this is what I've grown to recognize. And it's part of who I am as far as not giving up and never quitting. Like it's become who I am. And I'd say the source of it started not in a healthy way. It was like, I can't let other people see me fail. I can't look like a failure. Like that to me was like when we did have our business in 2000, like 9, 10, like when life was so incredibly hard because the market had shifted and everything. And people would look at me and talk to me about the successful business I had. And I'd be like, fuck, if you actually knew what this was. And it
Yeah.
was the pressure. It was the pressure to continue to have this front because people have this perception of who I am. I can't very
Mm.
well let them see the truth.
Mm.
That shit doesn't go away. I hope this isn't E-rated.
Oh no, this is perfect. This is perfect.
Sorry.
I love it. Okay, so
Like that's just the truth of it. Like in the beginning, that's what it was.
I think that's amazing. And I love the vulnerability because, yes, like real talk, right? Fear of judgment. Now, I'm going to go another layer deeper if you'll allow me.
I love it.
What do those judgments sound like in your head? Because I know you're playing some playlist when you're thinking about quitting. What does that sound like?
It's not the one that plays as much anymore because I've really worked through a lot of it. But in the beginning and where it was is that, and I mean, we all deal with it, and I am still, of course, dealing with it now. I'm more aware of it. But it is I'm not good enough, and
Mm.
I'm not good enough. Like what I've learned through the work that I've done is that it's so interesting to me. I won't get into the long story, but it is like when I was 3 years old. I think it was 2.5 or 3. My biological dad left.
Wow.
And what I learned through like doing hypnosis and doing all this work and like deep seated gut work is that I had blamed myself for him leaving. It's just like, if I was a good girl, if I had behaved myself, then he would have stayed. And my whole life, I always followed the rules. I skipped school once in all of my school history, and I went home and told my mom. I was like, I skipped school today and I got grounded. And it was all, and even to this day, like I will not cross a solid white line when I'm driving. Here in Canada, we have dash lines. I know down the States, like your HOV lanes, for example, you don't have the dash. So it's like, I do speed. I will go above the speed limit. That is one thing that I do. But when it comes to interaction with other people, like the way that I cross the lines or going in and outdoor, I will not go in and outdoor. I won't. It's just things. It's like these basic rules of life that I follow, because if I'm good, then nobody will have a problem with me and they'll accept me, and then I'll be good and I won't be abandoned. Like it's this history of the root causes and where does it come from? And that's really the source of it. So that thing that's running in my head when I was in the early years, when I was feeling like people were going to be, and I mean, even at the time, it's like I wasn't really aware that that's what I was thinking, is looking back and recognizing it. But it really was. It's just like, even in high school, I had this inferiority complex. Like I wasn't good enough for the people that I was around. And like, whether they had more money or they had fancier cars or bigger houses, it's just like, I always felt small. And I recognize through all the learnings that I've done is just that's all about my perception of myself. That's about me. It's not anybody. Nobody else cares.
Nobody sees that. Yes,
Nobody
man.
does. It's just like it is 100% me. And when I can come to terms and accept myself and understand that I'm worthy just because I am, and all of those things, when I get that, then it's like nothing else matters. And
Yeah.
so now my inability to quit is because I know what I'm capable of. And this is not going to be the thing that breaks me. It's just like, I'm going to get through this too, just like I have everything else, because it's what I want.
Oh my goodness. Coralie, thank you for being so open, because I know that you're not the only one that feels that way, right? Like,
Exactly.
and like the listener, L&M family member out there listening, like, we all have baggage. You are enough, right?
Yeah.
That's the story playing in your head. You're the only one telling that story, because everybody else sees greatness. And we
Yeah.
just kind of got to figure out how to reconcile that so that we can serve to the degree that we can. And I'm super glad that you did and are doing that work, Coralie, because I know it ain't easy, right? Similarly, my issue, it's abandonment, right? And it's exactly that. I'm not enough. I'll never be enough, because if I was, this wouldn't have happened. And so
Yes.
it's that kind of thing that's like, I got to do more. I got to do more. I got to do more to like earn favor or to earn people's time and all the things, which it used to be dirty fuel for me. Now, because I've done a lot of damn work,
Yeah.
it's like, you know what? I'm designed in such a way to serve in this manner. And some people are going to leave, and that's okay. And the ones that
Yes.
stick around, guess what? I'm going to do my damnedest to provide a meaningful experience.
Yeah.
But the things still ding around in my head. I mean, so you're a speaker, you've published books, you run a podcast, run a business, you do coaching. I'm going to guess that you didn't take a course or get a certificate that qualified you to do all of those things. Am I wrong?
It's a certificate of life, it is I guess I did get a coaching certificate. I did get
Okay. Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's lived experience. And it really does come to the fact, like, if I had to suffer in the ways that I had to suffer, I just don't want the next person to have to suffer the same way I did. Like, let me give you my experience, let me give you my answers, and then you go learn a new lesson or learn it in a different way. Like, just don't repeat what I had to go through. And like that, and that's kind of what when I got through, we sold our business and look back and everything that we went through, it's just like, if I had to go through that, have it be for a reason. If I hold on to all of that and don't share it and pretend it was all beautiful and perfect and lovely and all those things, then I'm not doing a service to anybody. It's just like, if I can, justify the shit that I went through in order to save the next person, then let me just give you everything that I have. Everything.
Time out. Because if you're anything like most leaders I talk to, your schedule is ultra packed. But somehow the most important things get neglected. And that most important thing is you. You're juggling projects, people, deadlines, and meetings. And somewhere in there, your own priorities get pushed aside. They get on the someday list. That's exactly why I created the Self First framework. It's a simple system designed to help leaders create space in their schedule to focus on the most important and impactful things and execute consistently without burning out. I put together a free live training where I break down how the framework works and how you can start applying it like right now, right now. So if you're curious, there's a link in the show notes where you can check it out. All right, let's get back to the episode. Yeah, yes, beautiful. Now, we were talking about this before we hit record about the community and like the construction community. And I'm going to be maybe obtusely specific of the construction community on LinkedIn. And it's a growing community. What's interesting, there was a time in my life where I used to bully people that had internet friends. and now all my friends I've met on the internet, which is totally, different timeline.
Can I just insert something there just for a quick
Yeah.
second? I'm going to say that acknowledgement for you to say that is really critical because, and this is, I think, something that a lot of people don't understand, is that if you don't change your mind, you're not growing. Like just changing your mind. Like, don't be so committed to what you believed yesterday because you think that you can't possibly change your mind because then you look like a hypocrite. No. That's a sign of growth. So go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to point that out because it's so important.
No, thank you. And that's exactly it, right? There's some things now, I think now that I have these beautiful highlights where I like change my mind like intentionally, but most of the time something changes my mind.
Yes.
Like it wasn't an option. I was like, oh, I was looking at that wrong.
Yes.
But on that line of like changing minds, what I'm excited about is there are so many voices that are advocating for doing construction differently. The future that I see, and I'm curious to hear if you see the similar. What I see happening right now is in the rooms that I'm in, doing training, facilitating, coaching, all the things. It used to be where people sat with crossed arms and were kind of there because they, just so they don't get fined.
Yeah.
Now what I'm seeing is people are there and they're curious and hungry and interested. And I think come to a point in our industry that people recognize that we can't keep doing it the way we've been doing it. And I'm talking specifically in the way we treat each other, in the way we demonstrate appreciation or fail to. And so there's an appetite for that. Like, I don't think most people can articulate it, but they just know like, this sucks. I hate everybody. Everybody hates me. And that's the game. And it's taxing and it sucks. And so they're starting to be open to, okay, there's something different. And I also think the future is the leaders, the decision makers, not companies, because every company has cold spots and hot spots, but the leaders that commit to designing an experience where people are appreciated and supported, they're going to win the talent game. So before I go further, what do you think about that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, it's just, I had a conversation I'm actually a fractional COO as well. So I work inside of companies and help them like from within. And so I met with somebody recently that, she's doing a great job she has an administrative role. She's doing a great job, but there's a lot of change going on. And she's like, there's been a lot dumped on her. And through restructuring, we did let one person go. And it was for not a lack of performance. It really was a restructuring issue. And she felt really threatened that she was going to lose her job because she felt like she wasn't performing and she was, all these things. So I had my first meeting with her. Like, it was the first opportunity that I had to meet with her because there's a lot of other things going on. And so this is the first time I had a meeting with her. And I said to her towards the end of our conversation, I said, what do you need? Ooh. And she said to me, I just need to be acknowledged. And I was like, yeah, you do. Like, no kidding. It's not like the way that we're going is not, it's not soft. It's not weak. It is people wanting to make a difference.
That's it.
And the old school leaders, like I was, like 100%, I was that leader that thought, like, I give you a job, I give you a paycheck at the end of your, like, why do I need to coddle you? Why do I need to appreciate you? Like, I was that person.
Me too.
Absolutely. And that's where the learning happens, is that when you recognize, it's just like, oh, wait just a second. This isn't about me. It's not what I think they need or should need. It's like what they actually need. And so when I turned it around and started listening to them and give them what they wanted and not what I thought they should want, everything changed for me. Because all of a sudden, it's like this barrier that I was holding up came down. I could create a true connection with my people. And it's just like, that's where I could become that leader of service. It's like,
Yes.
Let me help you be the best that you can be. So it's not, where we see, people kind of leaning in a bit because they do want to see what this difference looks like. I think it's because the people coming up, they're not putting up with the same things. They have higher expectations. They expect to be treated better,
Yep.
and yes, there is a very fine line between that entitlement that
Yep.
I still don't at all have any appreciation for, but there is a fine line between entitlement and what they deserve. They deserve to be
Yes.
acknowledged, appreciated, and shown that yes, you are contributing to this team in a way that's really important. Thank you. Like, it is not hard, and
Yeah.
it goes a long way. So yeah, to your point, it's just like, yes, people are definitely wanting to see how this could be done a different way. And there's a lot of uncertainty as to what that means, what it looks like, and
Yes.
how can I do it differently? Like, how can I do it differently?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're out there helping. And I mean, kind of back to like the mind shift, right? You experienced it. I was the same way. This was a few years back. I was doing a training here in San Antonio at the local AGC thing. And I was talking about collaborative planning and, blah, blah, blah. And there was a guy in the back of the room and I recognized him and he recognized me. Like the whole day, it was a half day thing. He's looking and I'm looking at, I was like, man, where do I know that guy? Finally, at the end, he comes up to me. He's like, hey, man, were you on such and such project? I'm like, yeah. And he says, you are not the same damn person. So what do you mean? He said, I hated your ass.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Because at the time I think I was the plumbing foreman on that project. So it was way back. And I didn't give a shit about anybody. I didn't
Yeah.
care about my people. Like, you were a tool to help me be successful. And if you got in the way, your ass was gone. You're the general contractor. I don't care. You're the framer. I don't care. I don't care unless you can help me meet my goal. And I treated everybody like that. And he was like, you're not the same human being. But to your point, there were experiences that all of a sudden was like, man, if I just treat people better and listen to them a little bit more, I don't have to fight and I'm not the bad guy and I get swag and I get invited to lunch. Like, whoa, where was this my whole career? Like, I learned it too late.
Mhm.
Now, you commented that like it's what we need, betting it all on the fact that it's what's missing. It's connection that's what's missing in our industry, and that
Absolutely.
we can make it happen. What I recognize you as doing on the socials, on LinkedIn with the podcast and all the things is getting that message out. I think I'm doing the same thing. Now, there
Mhm.
are people that are like, why do you spend so much time on the internet? That's stupid. And I'm like, okay, but I really think I'm having an effect. I'm having an impact. I
Mhm.
know that you are. And I know that all the other creators out there are having an effect and an impact. Now, within that group, there's some folks that are like, man, it should only be these people. Look at all these new people. They shouldn't be here. What do you
Yeah.
think about that? How do you see, what would you recommend so that we can actually continue this wave of change that we're like on the precipice of?
So it is interesting because I am of the opinion, like, business coaches are everywhere.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I had my backup with people who would like have their MBA and they would become a business coach. I'd be like, you have not been in the trenches. You don't know what it's like to cry yourself to sleep at night, to wake up 2 hours later thinking about how am I going to meet payroll and I got to collect this check and don't forget this guy's off sick today and don't forget this and I wonder this, like all of the shit that goes through your head all at the same time at 2 o'clock in the morning. If you don't experience that, how can you bring me value because you've just not been in my shoes?
Uh-huh.
And so there's a little piece of me that believes that, yes, I think that it, like, and for me, people, I have been on site, I'm not a skilled tradesperson. My background is in building envelope. So I've done project management, did construction management. I've done a lot of different things. And I have certainly been on a lot of construction sites, never full time. And at the same time, so I can see people looking at me and going, like, yeah, but you've not been in the trades. And what I recognize and acknowledge is that through all of this, it's just like, does it really matter? At the end of the day, this industry needs to be improved. And if it is somebody who comes from the, comes from the spa industry and is all of a sudden a business coach in the construction industry and is helping somebody, like, does it really matter?
Yeah.
It's still something I grapple with because it's like me and all of those people who like, you got to hold fast onto the shit that I went through and you didn't go through this shit and you need to do your time, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's like, maybe that's me. Like, maybe that's my problem, not theirs. Because if they're there to help the industry, then who am I to say who belongs and who doesn't? As long as I can serve, like, I know one of the biggest impacts I have is the fact that I can speak the language. I understand my people. And when I can connect with a young most of them have been tradesmen. Like, I've worked with one tradeswoman on the in the leadership training capacity, but most of them have been tradesmen. And I tell you, it's like, maybe part of it is that they see me as a mother figure, but I have been able to connect with them in a way that is safe. I've had full-grown men cry in my presence and have never, ever, wouldn't ever consider doing that. And for me, it's just like, if I can create that space where you can be not okay for a minute, then let's talk. Because there's so much of the toxic masculinity still, even when we have really great men as leaders. I think a lot of people still just don't feel safe to be vulnerable because even our great male leaders have a hard time showing that level of vulnerability to their people.
Yes.
And even when I have these conversations with leaders like this, we talk about vulnerability, like this is the key to your success as a leader. And when you can show that you know how to be human, that you're not going to have all the answers, that you're going to have a hard day. And it's within, you have to be very discerning as to what you're showing and sharing, all that. But when you allow yourself to show that level of vulnerability, that you don't have all your shit together all the time either, and you've suffered as well, like just showing that you're human, that's when you create the trust, the safety. I read something today actually that said, with regards to the construction industry and building trust, it said trust starts with honesty. And it's like, I disagree. I think trust starts with vulnerability.
100%.
Vulnerability, yes, is partially honesty, yes, but that's not the root of it. You need to go deeper. You need to allow yourself to actually be vulnerable and not see it as a weakness, and don't think you're going to be perceived as weak if you show it. Like, it is interesting because our people need people who are going to be vulnerable so that they feel safe to also be vulnerable, because otherwise they won't, and they will suffer. And that's where, I don't care if you have 20 years in the industry, 0 years in the industry. If you can affect that change, I'm all for it. I don't care who you are. Come in, let's fix that. Like that's it.
Yeah, 100%. I've had some significant mind shifts in my life that changed the trajectory of who I am. Yeah. The most significant one was learning that I was not vulnerable. I swear I had an ex who said that I was the least vulnerable human being she ever met.
Yeah.
And I said, well, what does that mean, right? So, of course, Brene Brown, I started looking up vulnerability, and then I read what Daring Greatly or whatever it was. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, crap, she was right. Like, yeah, I'm not. Like, it was like Brene Brown did research and used me as the research dummy, right?
Subject. We call it a subject.
Thank you. And at the same time, I was wrestling with addiction. And I had a counselor tell me, like, Jesse, your problem is not admitting. Your problem is that you haven't accepted. I said, what the hell are you talking about? He says, you've admitted that you're an alcoholic, that you're an addict. He said, but you haven't accepted that if you continue living life the way you're living it, you will never become the promise you're intended to be. He didn't say, Jesse, you need to stop womanizing, stop drinking, he didn't say that. He said, if you continue living your life the way you're living it. And I knew it was the clearest words I've ever heard him. I knew exactly what he was talking about. And what I needed to do, because this kind of the way life is, right? Happened around the same time. It was like serendipity, perfect timing,
Always is.
right? And so what I needed to do was start letting people in.
Yeah.
Now, I had a massive, massive fear of abandonment. So I had all these mechanisms set up so that I never had the attachment, so that I never felt abandoned. So I had
Yeah.
to be vulnerable to start letting people in. I had to learn how to say, I don't know. I had to
Mhm.
learn how to say, I need help. And little by little, like vulnerability is not me crying and spilling my guts every time I talk to somebody. It's
Yeah.
often as simple as saying, man, I don't know how to do this thing. Can you help me? All right.
Yeah.
Or I'm screwed up yesterday because of XYZ, which as leaders, it's hard for us to see, right? Like our words and our behaviors are amplified by our position, by our titles, by our roles.
Mhm.
And so our people, I mean, I remember looking up to my bosses and they were like the titans of the industry. Like one day when I grow up, I can be like them. And then I
Yeah.
got to their level and I know I'm still the same dummy that I was, 5 or 10 years ago. And I don't see myself the way my people saw me. And so
Mm.
when what you said, if when I just demonstrate some vulnerability and show that I'm human too, all of a sudden I'm giving permission to everybody on the team or within, my circle to say, "Oh, it's okay to be human.
Yeah.
It's okay to be a little messy and not be perfect." And then the magic starts.
Well, it is so true because the your ability to say I don't know, like that's the primary example that I use when I introduce this idea of vulnerability to people who are leaders coming up. It's just like all it means is you're saying, that's a great question. Let me check. I don't
Yeah.
know. When you, as a leader, take 100% responsibility for the failure of your team, and what that looks like is, somebody did something that they should have known better. They're a journey person, and that is definitely within their skill set, and they should have known. And they're a really great person, and it's a one-time thing, and all those things. So you go to them and you say, clearly I failed to communicate something to you here. And just
Yes.
doing something as simple as that, like taking responsibility for their failure, it all of a sudden it's just like now they don't have to get up, they're back up and get defensive. It's like,
Right.
okay, like they're acknowledging that maybe they could have helped me a bit more, even if you recognize they didn't need to. It's
Right.
just,
Right.
it opens the pathway for conversations, just like, you know what, clearly I miscommunicated something here, or I thought that maybe you understood something here and you don't. Sorry, that's on me. How can I help you not to do this again next time?
Right.
So, one, you're showing as a leader, you're showing that you did something wrong and you are opening up that whole thing of vulnerability. I was wrong. That's on me.
Yeah.
And then, two, they feel safe to say, hey, they feel supported. And they're like, you know what? I really messed that up. I really should have known. You're right. I'm going to make sure it never happens again. It's like it's a productive conversation
Yeah.
as opposed
Yeah.
to you should have known better. You're a journeyman. This is something you should know, blah, 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 because we've all seen and heard that. It's just
Oh
like, yeah,
yeah.
right. I should have known, but that's not productive. It's just like, how can we actually learn and grow and create trust? And that creates trust when you're willing to take the hit for your team where they messed up.
Yes. And like the peripheral benefits. If I know it's like my head is not going to get chopped off and I'm not going to get chastised when I surface a problem,
Mm-hmm.
guess what? I'm going to bring problems earlier. And guess
Yes.
what? We're going to
That's a good
solve
thing. That's a good thing.
right. That's a good thing.
Yes.
Whereas the other, and I've lived it, right? I used to get really frustrated because the guys would hide the problems. And like, why didn't you tell me sooner? Because I would lose it. I would yell and get mad and throw my hard hat and have a temper tantrum. So of course they were going to hide the problems. And we see it. I mean, you've seen it. I see it all the time. It's like, why do they do that? Why do they wait till the last minute? It's like, because of that. Like, stop
Yes.
yelling and screaming. Like, create the conditions where people feel safe to be human, to say, hey, I made a mistake. Hey, there's an issue. Because now you can be like, you can get in front of the things and they're not impacting production. They're not impacting the bottom line. And more importantly, you're not degrading, minimizing the human experience. Simple, but hard, right? New habits to be built. Now,
Simple, not easy.
simple, not easy. Now,
Yeah.
another point I stole off of your LinkedIn was you help improve culture and retention without adding complexity. So why does it all, and again, this is my assumption and I'm being judgy. Why does it seem like the solution to any culture retention problem has to be complex with a new app, a new CRM, a new freaking department? Why?
Investing in new this and spending money on that. And yeah. And I think it comes back to that whole thing we spoke about earlier, is that leaders don't know what they don't know, and they don't recognize it is as simple as creating that connection with your people. And just the conversation we just had, allowing yourself to be vulnerable, connect with them, see them, hear them, listen to what their goals are, actually create a plan for where they want to go, whether it be within your company, within the industry, or in their life. Like it's the simple things. It's just having a conversation that, all of a sudden your people are going to be like, oh, maybe he actually really cares, because people feel like a number, even when you're in small companies, like they feel like they're working for the pocketbook of the owner. And that's why so many people are leaving and starting their own thing. Well, I may as well make that money for myself. Please don't. Just please don't. Go find a better employer. Go find a better employer, because there are some out there that really do care, that really do want you to make as much money as you can make, and they will help you get there. They'll lay it out. There is that. Yes, the whole culture and retention and keeping, good people, all of that stuff just comes down to doing a few simple things. And one is just simplify your structure. That simplicity itself, there's so much shit that gets caught up in how we do things, and it's just can we just strip it all away and focus on what's really important? What's really important is people know what their job is, how they contribute, what they're supposed to do on a day-to-day basis, who they talk to on a day-to-day basis, and let's just do some work. God, there's so many levels of shit that gets lost in trying to implement and clarify, and it's just not at all the case. It's just if we can just strip away and just keep things really simple, it's scalable, and your people are going to stick around. The right people are going to stick around. You're going to lose people in those, and that's perfect. Those are the people you want to lose. The good people are going to be signing on. Let's go. Where do you want me to start? Where can I take this? That's.
Yes. I've seen it. We way back, we were pissing and moaning about foremen not knowing how to do their job. And it was my experience, right? I was a foreman, and I go to the monthly job review so we could check the budget health. And everybody told me that I sucked and I needed to plan better. But nobody could tell me how to plan better. They just told me that I needed to. And so I figured out how to plan better, right? And So then fast forward, I had a lot of influence now within that organization. And so we rolled out training to train, to go from installer to foreman, from foreman to superintendent. These are the responsibilities. This is how you do it. These are the expectations. And we're going to monitor it. We had several long-term people quit because they're like, well, you're micromanaging and whatever. It's no, but this is the expectation of the role now. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to.
Yeah.
You can go back and install, right? But a foreman and a superintendent do these things here. And several of them quit the company. It was too much stress adhering to that. But everybody else was like, man, now I know what I need to do. Exactly. Now I know how to do it. I'm going to go do it. Totally different situation. We didn't have to add fancy crap. It was, let's make some investment. Let's slow down. Let's connect with the people.
Yeah.
And serve them.
Yes. Oh. It's exactly what you said there. And I think that this is the root of it all is connection. Humans need that connection. We long for it. And I think we long for it even more so today than we ever have, because so much time is spent online, which is by the nature of the time we spend on there is disconnection. So the more that we disconnect by being online and disengage, it's we need to amp it up and ramp it up to get to balance it with more connection. So when we see in our industry, people are gruff and grumpy and don't want to give back. They don't want to mentor. They want to keep their secrets and all of that stuff. There's zero connection. and everybody on site feels it. And so everybody feels like they're operating on their own. And so when you can start to just introduce what connection can look like, and it starts with the leaders, it's like, like one of the people that I work with, he went on to a job, one of the leaders I work with, he went on to one of his job sites and just like had a conversation with one of his journeymen that was on site. And he came back and he's like, that was a great conversation. It's like, yes, this is what you as the leader need to be doing, is having these conversations and just learning about people and understanding what they're doing and where they want to go. And like, just let them talk about themselves for a few minutes and they'll be like, that guy's amazing. And they feel connected. Like it's not any kind of in-depth formal coaching conversation. It's just being human. And our people need that. That's what they need. And the construction industry, for all of its history, has not encouraged connection, because for the longest time, it's not what the people weren't coming to work to look for that. People got that outside of work. Now, with the people who are coming in, the nature of the fact that when they're outside of work, they're largely disconnected because they spend so much time on their phone. So now where do they find that connection? Well, it's going to be at work. That's going to be a great source for them to find the connection. And it's a huge piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, I'm with you, sister. And I'm glad that you're out there doing amazing things to close that gap. I know there's a bunch of people doing the same thing. We just need to support each other to get there.
Absolutely.
So are you ready for the Grand Slam closing question?
Yes.
Okay. What is the promise you are intended to be?
The promise I am intended to be. You know what? My biggest asset, my biggest quality is that ability to connect with people on a meaningful level. And on the weekend, I had a conversation with somebody who, she sent me an email this morning saying, thank you for that. I had never opened up to anybody about this before. It's the first time she felt like she had never shared what she shared with me in that moment. And I was like, to be that place where people can feel safe, where people can feel relief, where people can feel it's okay to not be okay, and be willing to receive the support that is available, that I will provide anybody in our industry. It's just like, I am here to support you. I am here to make you be the best version of you can be. And it's going to be a messy middle. And that's 100% good and okay, because that's the reality. And so the promise that is through me is that I will always make a safe space for people to be I don't like the term authentic, but to live their reality in a place where they don't have to feel judged. They don't have to feel like they shouldn't feel like this, because I think judgment, like I used to be a very judgy person. I remember saying to a friend of mine once, yes, I judge people. Yes. Like if I had to do all this work, why shouldn't they have to do the work too? I remember saying that. And then of course, like you said, no lesson is ever, oh, this is a nice idea. Maybe I'll try this instead. No, every lesson is given to you in a way that's like a kick in the teeth. And so, and I have judgment. I judge nobody. I judge nobody. I don't care if you're homeless on the street or if you are maybe not the White House, but we'll say Parliament in Canada. I will give you the same level of respect, because you are human, because you have your own experience. And who am I to say if that's right or wrong? Who am I to judge your decisions, the experience you've had, everything that you've had to deal with? Because at the end of the day, everybody is doing their best, whatever that is.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm not surprised by your answer. I'm enthused, excited about it. And I'm hoping the listener, L&M family member out there, listeners, like, oh my God, I need to talk to Coralie, because I feel it. We've interacted here, that we've done on the thing. I've seen the impact and the influence on several of the people that I interact with. And it was like, yeah, Coralie was my coach. Like, she's got game. Like you have a lot of impact out there. So for that person that's saying, man, she's speaking my language, I like that flavor, where do we send them? How do they get a hold of you, Coralie?
Well, LinkedIn is I'm pretty easy to find, because Coralee Beatty, I'm one of one. So, if you Google me, like the first 5 or 7 pages is like all me. Like you cannot escape me. You cannot not find me. So yeah, just you can Google my name and come to my website. LinkedIn is an easy place. Instagram, like I'm Coralee Beatty everywhere. So yeah, just
beautiful.
Look for me anywhere.
I'll make sure that we have all the links in the show notes, because I know there's people that you can serve. You're already doing it, and there's so many more. Like, I'm grateful to you for committing the time and energy. Like, you're starting a new business and you're coaching people. You're doing a lot, and I know that's not easy. So I'm grateful to you, Ms. Coralie, for the sacrifice that you make to serve the industry the way that you do. So thank you. Did you have fun?
This is great, Jesse. I'm so glad that we got a chance to finally have like this conversation, and I look forward to more conversations in the future.
Absolutely. Before you go, I want to thank you for spending part of your day with me. Your time and attention mean a ton, and it's because of listeners like you that this podcast even exists. If you enjoyed today's conversation, make sure to subscribe to the Learnings and Missteps podcast so you never miss an episode, and you get extra credit if you share it with your friends. Also, if you want even more insights on leadership, personal growth, communication, all those fancy magical things, you can sign up for my newsletter on LinkedIn because I got a newsletter that goes out every single Monday. All the resources I share there are designed to help you put yourself first so that you can leave this world better than you found it. There's also a digital copy of my book, Becoming the Promise You're Intended to Be. And it's sitting there waiting for you on my website. All you got to do is do the click and do the download, and you get the free PDF. And if you want even more bonus points, share that PDF with somebody you know or the family of somebody you know that is currently struggling with self-destructive behavior. That would be the ultimate gift for me. While you're there, do some exploring of the trainings, workshops, and services that are designed to enhance your performance at home and at work. Just click the link in the show notes to check it out. Thanks again for listening. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you on the next episode. Peace. Before you go, I want to thank you for spending part of your day with me. Your time and attention mean a ton, and it's because of listeners like you that this podcast even exists. If you enjoyed today's conversation, make sure to subscribe to the Learnings and Missteps podcast so you never miss an episode, and you get extra credit if you share it with your friends. Also, if you want even more insights on leadership, personal growth, communication, all those fancy magical things, you can sign up for my newsletter on LinkedIn because I got a newsletter that goes out every single Monday. All the resources I share there are designed to help you put yourself first so that you can leave this world better than you found it. There's also a digital copy of my book, Becoming the Promise You're Intended to Be. And it's sitting there waiting for you on my website. All you got to do is do the click and do the download, and you get the free PDF. And if you want even more bonus points, share that PDF with somebody you know or the family of somebody you know that is currently struggling with self-destructive behavior. That would be the ultimate gift for me. While you're there, do some exploring of the trainings, workshops, and services that are designed to enhance your performance at home and at work. Just click the link in the show notes to check it out. Thanks again for listening. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.